As-salamu Aleikum, welcome back to Deen and Chai. Hope you're all doing well, inshaAllah. Today, inshaAllah, we're going to talk about prayer and how to improve our prayer and enjoy our prayer and feel that deeper connection in prayer, inshaAllah. If you're following along on the Ramadan prep calendar, the task for Sunday was to improve our prayer, slow down, reflect and soak in each prayer, inshaAllah. We'll talk a little bit today about how to soak in each prayer more, inshaAllah, and find more love for our prayers, inshaAllah. And inshaAllah, these tips are beneficial if you are someone who is not praying but wanting to pray consistently, or if you are already praying consistently but perhaps losing focus in prayer or not finding that deeper connection in prayer. Inshallah, these tips are beneficial as well. So as Ramadan is approaching, it's a great time to try to work on our prayers, inshallah, and work on that connection with Allah before Ramadan starts, so that inshallah when Ramadan begins we have a better connection and are more consistent in our prayers and our focus and so on, inshallah. So we're going to talk about 5 things that we can do to strengthen that connection and improve our love for prayers, inshallah. The first one is recognize who you are standing in front of. The one who we are standing in front of is the one who is in control of everything and the one who blesses us with everything that we have. He's full of love, he's full of mercy for us. He gives us, he's the giver of everything. He showers us with his blessings. All the gifts we have around us are from him. If there was a human being in our life that gave us gifts as much as Allah gives us, we would love to spend time with that person, wouldn't we? That person who showers us with love and kindness and patience and lots of gifts, wouldn't we want to spend as much time as possible with that person, in that person's company? Think about Allah this way. We often forget that everything we have around us, all the gifts and blessings we have, are coming from Allah. So why not want to spend more time with him? Why not want to be more in his presence? So let's recognize who he is and learn to love him and learn to love to be in his presence. So by showing up to our meetings with him, he wants to hear from us at least 5 times a day, subhanallah. Anybody else would get tired of hearing from us 5 times a day, every day, same thing, day in and day out. Anybody else would get tired of that. But Allah loves to hear from us at least 5 times a day. That's the minimum that he wants to hear from us. So let's recognize who he is. Let's recognize that he is full of love and mercy for us, and he is the giver of everything that we have. So let's learn to love to be in his company, inshallah. The second thing, what's the rush? This is something to really reflect on before we start our prayer. Let's ask ourselves, what is the rush? We often tend to rush through our prayers because we have other things to do. But let's take a moment to really think about that and really reflect on that before we start our prayer. Everything that we are rushing to do is temporary, is dunya things that we are rushing to go get done, rushing to go out, hang out with friends, go to meetings, go to whatever it is that we are rushing to go do. It's all temporary dunya things that we are rushing to. But what is with Allah is permanent. That is what we should be rushing to. It should be the total opposite. Instead of rushing to do dunya things, we should always be rushing towards prayer and putting our focus there. So let's remember and let's ask ourselves before each prayer, what is the rush? Everything is temporary. Everything we are rushing towards is temporary. Let's slow down in our prayers and put more time and focus in our prayers. And let's also remind ourselves that everything that we are rushing to seek in this dunya, at the end of the day, it is in Allah's control. So why not spend more time with him? It's in his control after all. Why not spend more time with the one who is in control of everything, is in control of all the things we are rushing towards in the dunya? So let's reflect on that point, inshaAllah, so that we can remind ourselves to slow down in each prayer, to slow down and put focus and put priority in our prayers, inshaAllah. The third thing is reflect on Allahu Akbar. Reflect on this phrase. We open our prayer with this phrase, Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. And we say it multiple times throughout the prayer in different motions and actions. We say Allahu Akbar, and then again Allahu Akbar, and then again Allahu Akbar. We say it again and again and again throughout the prayer. But do we actually reflect on these words? These words, when we soak them in and their meaning, they can really help us regain our focus in our prayer. Because what are we saying? We are saying Allah is greater. Allah is greater than anything that our minds are consumed by. Anything that we are thinking about in our prayer. Maybe we are starting prayer and then we think, oh, I wonder what I should have for dinner today, or where should I go tomorrow, or oh, I need to call that person, or oh, I don't know, need to pay that bill, oh, I'm worried about this, and we start to lose focus and forget what rak'ah we are on. But when we say Allahu Akbar, that phrase can be a way to regain our focus into prayer, because what we are saying is Allah is greater. Allah is greater than that worry that we have. Allah is greater than those bills we need to pay. Allah is greater than that dinner that I'm thinking of making. Allah is greater than all of our thoughts and everything that is consuming us. So every time we say Allahu Akbar, try to soak that in and use that as a way to regain focus into your prayer. When your thoughts are wandering and then you say Allahu Akbar, remind yourself Allahu Akbar is greater than that thought that I'm having. And then again, if your thought wanders, then again you're saying Allahu Akbar in your prayer. Again, use it to say I'm leaving that thought behind. Allah is greater than that thought. Let me refocus in my prayer again. So use it as a point to bring your focus back in prayer. Every time you say Allahu Akbar, soak in the meaning and remind yourself that Allah is truly greater than every thought and worry that I have. So I'm going to just let it go and remind myself Allah is greater. So let me focus in this prayer that I'm in with Allah. So let's really use it as a point to regain our focus, inshaAllah, and improve our prayers. So let's remind ourselves, why am I worried about all those things when Allah is greater than all those things? Allah is more powerful. It's all in His power, all in His ability. Let me refocus and focus on my prayer, inshaAllah. So I hope that that is a beneficial reminder and tool for us to use every time we say Allahu Akbar in prayer to regain our focus. Number 4, let's talk about Sujud, when we are in prostration. We have this hadith that says, the closest that a servant is to his Lord is when he is in prostration, is when he is in Sujud. Soak in that meaning. Soak this reminder in. When you are in Sujud, remember this, that right now this is the closest point I am to my Lord. So let me stay here a little bit longer and soak this in. Instead of just going down and pecking really quickly and coming up from Sujud so fast, let me soak in this Sujud a little bit longer, because right now I am in the closest point that I can be to my Lord. Why would I want to get out of the Sujud and be at a further point? Let me soak it in. I'm the closest point that I can be right now with my Lord. Soak this in the next time you are in Sujud. Remind yourself of this. When you are in Sujud, just think about it. This is the closest point I am right now to Allah. So elongate your Sujud, inshaAllah. It is such a beautiful thought to have and a beautiful reminder for us to have. To just really soak in that moment of Sujud. It's such a humble moment that we are in, and it's such a reminder to think about, right now I am as close as I can be to my Lord. So let me stay here a little bit longer, inshaAllah. And then lastly, number 5 is to make dua. Always be making dua to have a close relationship with Allah. We have to take action, but we also seek assistance from Allah. And subhanAllah, in every prayer, we are asking Allah for His assistance. When we say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, it is you alone we worship, and you alone we seek help from. It's a reminder to us, He is the one we should be seeking help from. Through our prayer, through our dua, we should be seeking help from Him. So don't forget to always make dua for Allah to keep you close to Him, to keep you consistent in your prayers, to allow you to love your prayers and love Him and love being consistent in your prayer, inshaAllah. So always make that dua to be close to Allah. And that is it for the 5 tips. I hope that these were a beneficial reminder and beneficial tools, inshallah, for us to just soak in our prayers a little bit more and enjoy them more and learn to love them more, inshallah. And to remember that this is what is permanent. These actions that we do, these actions of worship with Allah, at the end of the day, this is what is going to be permanent in our scales, inshallah. So let's really take our time in prayer. Let's prioritize our prayers. Let's put more focus in our prayers, inshallah, and let's always strive and work to improve our prayers. And this is a great month to do that before Ramadan approaches, so that when Ramadan approaches, inshallah, we have already established a deeper connection in our prayers, inshallah. I hope this was beneficial, and As-salamu Aleikum.